The morning sunlight, usually a comfort, felt almost mocking as it glinted off the ravaged petals. I stood there, a mug of now cold tea in my hand, staring at what remained of my prized peonies. For months I had meticulously nurtured them, envisioning this precise week, a magnificent explosion of deep crimson and delicate pink, timed perfectly for a cherished family gathering. I'd pictured my grandmother, her eyes lighting up at the sight, sharing stories amidst their beauty. But a sudden late-season frost had swept through just 2 nights ago, turning every hopeful bud, every vibrant leaf into a brittle brown ruin. The scene I had held so clearly in my mind, the joy I had anticipated, had simply vanished, replaced by a stark, silent wreckage. A familiar tightness began to coil in my chest, that bitter knot of frustration, the silent scream of, "It's not fair." My mind replayed the careful pruning, the hours spent weeding, the gentle watering, all for nothing. The bitterness started to spread, clouding my vision, turning the crisp air heavy with resentment. I felt the powerful urge to dwell, to lament, to sink into the what should have been. But then, almost like a whisper from within, a different thought emerged. It wasn't loud or demanding, just a quiet question. What good is this bitterness doing? It was a question I'd encountered before in the quiet wisdom of ancient Stoic philosophy. And in that moment, standing amidst the ruined beauty, its relevance felt sharper than ever. Life rarely goes exactly as planned. We draw maps, we set courses, we invest time and emotion into a particular vision of the future. And then, often, a late-season frost, a sudden detour, or an unforeseen circumstance arrives, shattering our carefully constructed expectations. The natural human reaction is often one of disappointment, anger, or despair. We feel cheated, wronged, or simply lost. This is precisely where the Stoic approach offers not a cure for disappointment, because disappointment is a natural emotion, but a profound framework for how to respond to it. The Stoics understood that our suffering often arises not from the events themselves, but from our judgment of them and our insistence that reality should conform to our desires. The first, most fundamental truth is often the hardest to accept. Some things are simply not within our control. The weather, the actions of others, the fickle hand of fate, those are externals. My effort, my intention, my careful nurturing of the peonies, those were entirely within my control. But the frost? Not in the slightest. The Stoics would call this the dichotomy of control. Our peace is found when we meticulously separate what is truly ours to command, our thoughts, our attitudes, our actions, from what lies outside our sphere of influence. Standing in my garden, amidst the withered blooms, I had a choice. I could continue to rage against the frost, to wish for a different reality, to let the disappointment fester and spoil the day, the family gathering, and my own peace of mind. Or I could pivot. I could accept what was. This isn't about passive resignation, mind you. It's not about shrugging and saying, "Oh well." It's about a clear-eyed acceptance of reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. The peonies were gone. That was the unvarnished truth. And clinging to the expectation of their magnificent bloom was only prolonging my suffering. It's about turning towards reality rather than away from it. It's about saying, "This is what is happening," and then asking, "Given this, how do I respond with wisdom and virtue?" For the Stoics, the challenge of unmet expectations isn't about avoiding the sting, but about transforming it. It's about recognizing that our power lies not in controlling the external world, but in controlling our internal response to it. This inner freedom, they taught, is the only true freedom. I could choose to lament the ruined beauty, or I could appreciate the remaining green, the resilience of the soil, the lessons learned about the unpredictability of nature. I could pivot my focus to the deeper purpose of the gathering, the joy of family, regardless of the floral centerpiece. Over the years, I've found this shift in perspective to be profoundly liberating. The career path that took a sudden, unexpected turn, leading me away from a perfectly envisioned role. The cherished friendship that drifted apart, not with animosity, but simply with life pulling in different directions. Even smaller daily frustrations, like a planned quiet evening suddenly disrupted. In each instance, the initial jolt of disappointment arrives. But the pause, the conscious choice to apply these ancient ideas, brings a sense of calm. What part of this is truly within my control, I ask myself. What is my best response given the reality I now face? The lesson from those frosted peonies wasn't about giving up on beauty or meticulous planning. It was about recognizing the fragile dance between intention and outcome. It was about understanding that true tranquility comes not from life unfolding exactly as scripted, but from our ability to navigate its inevitable detours with grace. It's about adapting without bitterness, focusing our energy on how we respond well rather than what should have been. Life will always throw curveballs. Expectations will always be unmet, sometimes dramatically, sometimes subtly. The choice before us in every single moment is how we choose to meet these realities. Do we react with frustration and resentment, clinging to a past that never quite materialized? Or do we respond with acceptance, resilience, and a focused effort on what we control right now? I invite you to pause for a moment. Consider an unmet expectation lingering in your own life. Perhaps it's a career path that took an unexpected turn, a relationship that didn't blossom as you hoped, or even a small daily disappointment. How might you apply these ideas, distinguishing what you can control from what you cannot, and focusing on your response rather than the should have been? Share your thoughts in the comments below, or simply reflect on it. And if this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more thoughtful explorations of how ancient wisdom can illuminate our modern lives.